Well, hey there, book lovers. Thank you so much for joining me. I am so excited to see you. Today we are doing a live Q&A. So I'm going to give it just a second for people to jump on. I know a couple people are joining me today, and I've got some really great questions that I want to answer today. But if you are joining me live, jump down in the comments below. Leave me your questions. I'm happy to get those answered for you while we are live on air. And if you're watching our rebroadcast, you can go ahead and leave your comments in the comment box as well. I will address those in an upcoming video for you guys. Now, I'm really excited because proofs are on their way. I know I've been saying this for a few days, but we have the paperbacks that are coming in proof form to me to double check, and then we can start ordering some of our advanced copies. And we are currently waiting on the approval for our hardcovers. So that is going to be fantastic. I'm really excited about that. Good news, our advanced ARCs ebooks have gone out yesterday, the first round of them. If you are interested in being one of my advanced readers, go ahead and let me know on this page, or you can jump onto Snowy Wings and let them know, and we will get you through the evaluation process to get an ARC so that you can read Golden before anybody else. Or you can jump on to our newsletter where you can get an excerpt of Golden and you can find out just a little bit about it. It's the first chapter and a half, so if you have read my excerpt, you want to make sure that you find where it left off, because it did not leave off at the end of chapter 2 and you don't want to miss anything. I definitely had that conversation with somebody yesterday, so make sure you find the place where it left off. So we're going to jump in, we're going to answer a couple of questions, and I'm going to pull that up right now. Maybe. There it is. Okay, so Jen has asked, where did you come up with the idea for Golden? Okay, so Golden is my baby. It's my favorite of all the books that I have written, and Golden is the story of Goldilocks. So ever since I was little, I've been obsessed with Goldilocks because she had golden hair. And when I was younger, my hair was a little bit lighter than this. I don't get out in the sun much these days, but I would go into the stores and I would match my hair to the hair colors on the wall, and mine was always golden. So I was always furious that people kept portraying Goldilocks as this girl with white blonde hair, because she's not. Clearly she's not. It does not match the hair dyes in the store. Golden was my color and people got it wrong, and that really, really bothered me. So I was very obsessed with Goldilocks because I loved her hair, because she had the same hair as me, and nobody had the same hair as me. Especially like the Disney princesses and the different fairy tale characters, they didn't have my hair, and that made me really sad. So I became obsessed with her, and then I started thinking about her story. And it's this story about a girl who wanders into a house, decides to set up shop there, and then the bears wake her up and she runs away, and that's the end of the story. And people talk about not walking into strangers' houses. And I didn't like that, because what girl is just going to walk into somebody's house and just hang out and then just run away? That didn't make sense to me. So I knew there had to be more to the story. I've always been a huge fan of retellings and the true story behind what the fairy tale was that we knew. And so for years I thought about, what is this girl doing? Why was she actually there? What actually happened? None of it made sense to me, and I really, really, really wanted to get in depth with her story, and I had to think it through. And I figured out that she had been sent on a mission. She was there for a reason. She did not just stumble across this place. She was there for a purpose. And so once I figured out that she had been sent on a mission, I had to figure out why. And of course, that came in the form of destroying the bear family. And I knew the bears were not actual animal bears. I knew that they were a group of people with the last name of bear, so I changed that spelling just a bit. I knew that I did not want a mother, father, son relationship. I wanted it to be a little bit different, because if the story's gonna be wrong, then it's gonna be wrong. So I created Berwin and Eden. Berwin is the oldest son of the bear family, and he is in charge of the bears group once their father died. Hi Connie, thanks for joining. And so I created Berwin, and then I gave him a wife, Eden. Eden's kind of acting as the mother in this scenario. And then I created Dove Bear, and he is the youngest. He sometimes gets referred to as Baby Bear. And I knew that my Goldilocks, whose name is Illyria, was going to meet this baby bear. She was going to meet Dove, and she was supposed to destroy Dove and Berwin and Eden and their group. And so I wanted to have that unique twist on the bear family, and I wanted to have that unique twist on Goldilocks. And I'm really, really thrilled with how it all worked out. And I invented this reason for her to be there. And then I had to come up with who sent her. So fairly quickly in the story, you're going to meet some of the people who have trained my Goldilocks, my Illyria, and sent her on this mission. And so you're going to meet the people in her life. So you will meet the bear family, you'll meet Goldilocks, you'll meet the people who trained her and sent her on this mission, and then you're going to find that I am absolutely vicious to my characters. I'm mean to them. A lot of bad stuff happens, and Illyria has to make a lot of choices. Does she destroy the bear family? Does she destroy her people? Who does she protect? What happens? Is she going to betray them all? What happens when she does betray them all? A lot of things fall and break, and it's just a mess. And then we have to get it, so it's not okay. It's never okay. People don't get out unscathed in my stories, but it really gets a little bit dark and adventurous, and I really like it. I'm really glad that you are excited, Connie. Oh, you've never seen a Goldilocks retelling before. I know! Everybody ignores Goldilocks, and it breaks my heart because I love her. People just ignore certain fairy tales. Like, everybody does Cinderella retellings. Everybody does Snow White. Everybody does Sleeping Beauty. Everybody does those, and I get so sick of those unless there's a really good twist. Every once in a while, I find a really good twist, and it's like, yes. But they ignore the other stories. So I've actually got a number of retellings. I don't exclusively do retellings. I've got three right now. Two of which, one's coming out, another one's in play, the other one's being written, and then I've got a fourth one with a good twist that's going to come eventually. But I really like to get involved with the ones that people don't think about, unless I have a really big twist. My second retelling has a huge twist. It's a little more of a common story, but it's got a huge twist on it that nobody's ever done before. So I'm really excited about that. Anyway, back to Golden. It's a retelling of Goldilocks. I'm super excited about it, and it came about because I was obsessed with Goldilocks because of her hair, and because everybody got it wrong, and because everybody got the story wrong, and it was such a simple story with not a ton of details involved in it. So I really wanted to get involved with that and get in depth to her story. So this is a trilogy. You're going to find some really cool stuff within this one. I do not touch on everything within the original Goldilocks story, so I do take the elements from the original story and I put this weird spin on it and I incorporate it in. A lot of it is within the first book, but some of it will not be addressed until the second and third books. So with Golden, you get Golden in March, and then the prequel novella is going to come out in August, and then we're going to get to the other two books, so I'm really excited about it. Connie wants to know, is Jaded a retelling? No, Jaded is not a retelling. This is a dystopian that I wrote. It's really, I love Jaded. It's about a girl who is forced into a really bad situation where her father had tried to displace the leader of their country, and he failed. And so in his efforts, while he failed, he could not be punished because he was a public figure and the people liked him. So the bad guy who was in charge decided that his daughter was going to pay, but he had to make it look like an accident. So to make it look like an accident, he actually married her off to his son. So she has to marry the bad guy's son, who is actually trying to kill her. And she's pretty sure she's going to end up dying, but she's not 100% certain, and she early on finds out that he is trying to kill her. It's a bad situation. And so she has to try to convince him to have some feelings for her so she doesn't die. And eventually she finds out that if she doesn't die, her entire town is in danger. So she's got to kind of switch her mindset and be okay with giving herself up for this. And at this point, we have a lot of people trying to save her, and she's working against them. And it's just this big, massive craziness with a lot of really great people. So I'm really excited about Jaded. It's going to be awesome. And that's all I'm going to say, because I'm going to be marketing that, talking a little bit about that more once we get through everything with Golden in March. So really excited about it. It's going to be awesome. Is Golden a high fantasy or more modern? Well, it's not high fantasy. There's no magic in it, but it's definitely more of a sci-fi fantasy thing. So it's been called a dystopian. It's not necessarily modern. So we've got the girls tend to wear dresses. The men tend to be men. The women tend to be women, except for a handful who they kind of give leadership positions. So Illyria is not expected to take the leadership roles that she is taking within the Bears group, but she has earned those positions. She's shown that she's been trained for them. So her cousin Lowell and her handler Shadow have actually trained her really, really well to be in this leadership role where she is very deceptive and she's very good at getting into the situation she's supposed to be in and turning those into something that she's supposed to turn them into. So it's definitely not modern, but it's also not high fantasy, but it's definitely along the lines of fantasy and very sci-fi and very dystopian. So that's kind of what it is there. She's a very strong character, so I love Illyria because she's very strong. And she finds herself in situations that are very bad, and she has created some of these situations for herself, and she puts herself in this really tough position, and then when she's there, she's got to figure out a way out of it. So I love her because things don't come easy to her. Things are hard. She has to make hard decisions. She has to decide where her loyalty lies between the Bears and between her cousin, the only family that she has left, and she's just, you know, in this really hard position. She's got to try to figure out how to take care of everybody, but then she can't take care of everybody, and it's just a disaster. So I'm really excited for it. I've had some really great things said. I've had a couple of authors who have read the book and blurbed it for me, so those are actually on my social media. In fact, let me real quick, before I answer this next question, let me show you. Oh no, it's not going to let me on, is it? I was going to read my quotes. Oh, I bet you I can get them in my photos because I saved them on my other phone. Yes, I can. Okay. So, Alyssa Chiavari, author of Fourth World, has said, a fast-paced and thrilling dystopian with a surprising fairy tale twist, Golden is perfect for fans of The Hunger Games or Divergent, looking for their next favorite series. Which I love, because Hunger Games and Divergent, yes, 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 yes. I'm so excited to be a series that would be good for fans of that series. Absolutely love it. That was a great quote. Thank you, Alyssa Chiavari. Jennifer Ann Davis, who is the author of the True Rain series, said, a cunning and witty fantasy story that turns an old tale into a high-stakes, thrilling adventure that will leave you clamoring for more. I have a new hero to root for. Illyria is the perfect character in this fun-filled story that turns Goldilocks upside down. So there you go. That's what people are saying. Yes, Connie, Hunger Games. I love it. I love it. I'm so excited. I didn't compare my stories to the big names, but somebody else did, so I'm thrilled. And then I've got a bunch of really great fan quotes that are going to be coming out on my social media in the not too distant future. So if you are following specifically my Instagram page, I am putting out these really cool quotes from people. A lot of things saying swoon, 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 swoon. I love Dove Bear, OMG, swoon. That was almost a direct quote from one of our readers, which is pretty fun. And then I have one that I'm going to be putting up probably later today that actually says it kind of feels like a movie unfolding before their eyes, and it feels like a real relationship to them, like they were in their relationship as well. So I'm really excited about these fan quotes. It's great. I'm just so excited. I'm so excited for this. This is such a fun experience for me. All right, so I'm going to take another question. If you have more questions, go ahead, pop those in the comments below, and I am going to pull up these. That one I answered. So my next one is from Emily. And Emily wants to know, where do I get my ideas from? Okay, so as far as ideas, I tend to be inspired by stories, specifically like fairy tales. So if you know anything about me, I am a fine arts photographer, and I create a lot of stories. So I will, through my photography, I will create these new worlds. I don't necessarily like, you know, the same things that I see every day. So I take bits and pieces of different things and I put them together and I create these new worlds. And then I use that to inspire some of my stories. But I also take different things that I am experiencing and different things that I'm going through, and I kind of figure out how that could work in a different sense. So last night I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, Sissy Lou, from my street team and from a whole bunch of the courses that I have taken. Hi Heather, thanks for joining. And I was talking to her last night, and we were talking about steampunk. So she asked if I had any steampunk novels that I was working on or that were coming out soon. And at this current time, I do not, but I really want to. So I have to do a little bit of studying on the culture for for steampunk before I do that, but we were talking about the different costumes, and then we were talking about costumes in general. We were talking about the different ways that people dress throughout the decades, and that gave me an idea for something that I'm eventually going to be working on. So I get my ideas from conversations, I get my ideas from the photos that I take, I get my ideas from the different things that I'm experiencing. So I might look out the window right now, I'm looking at this snow-covered yard, and I'm seeing like the very specific little details about what's going on, and that's going to be incorporated into a story at one point. In fact, the story I'm working on right now definitely has some scenes with the snow, and so some of the things that I'm seeing right now as we're talking, as I'm looking out the window, I'm looking past my phone as I'm recording, some of that is actually going to make its way into the story. Now, as far as Jaded goes, I actually have some experiences that I have experienced within my own life that I have actually written into the book. So there is a very specific scene within Jaded that you will read. You're gonna know it when you see it. It's one of those that kind of rocks your life. It's a horrifying thing, and it happens in Jaded, and it happened to me personally, and I wrote it into my book. And so a lot of the things within my stories are personal to me. So for example, Jaded, my main character Jade, she's actually very reminiscent of me in that she has a lot of allergies to different scented things. So within the story, she's actually forced into kind of living with this massive garden outside of her house, which is a way that the bad guy within the story is kind of making life difficult for her, because they know that she can't really tolerate all of this scented stuff. She's very allergic to it. It makes her sick. But they keep getting her out into this garden where she's going to be uncomfortable, where she's not going to feel well. And that is something that I experience because I am so allergic to things like flowers and paint and perfumes and shampoos. And so I write a lot of that into my stories. So I get my ideas from my own life experiences, from the images that I'm creating, from the different things that I'm doing and experiencing. And then sometimes I pull things like my fairy tales and I kind of work those into it. And sometimes I find different outfits. So if I make dresses, I make couture dresses for my photography. And if I find something that's going to work in a story, I will even base an entire story around that. I've definitely done that before. So it's really cool because I pulled just about everything to use as inspiration for my photos. So it's really exciting. Now, I've got another question from Heather. She asked this. Let me see. I am a big fan of your photography, and I was wondering, how do you come up with your ideas when you want to do a photo shoot? Well, thank you, Heather. I love my photography. That was my first love, the first thing I did. I've been doing this longer than I have been writing. And you can actually jump onto my Facebook page, facebook.com/KMRobinsonphotography, and you can check out my work. I do a lot of fine art, composite work, a lot of self-portraiture work. And usually within my photography, what I'm doing is sometimes I'm being artistic, sometimes I come up with ideas, and sometimes I'm just taking out my emotions through art. So I'm a creative. That's what I am. So I feel a lot of things, and when I have a feeling to express, instead of doing some other way of expressing it, I take it out through my art. So if I'm sad, I go out and I make an image. If I'm angry about something, I go out and I make an image. If I am happy about something, I go out and I make an image. And this isn't true all the time, but there are definitely times when I've noticed within my own art, if I'm upset about something, I make a really light and fluffy image. I don't know why, because my intent is always to do some deep, dark, meaningful image, and it ends up being light and bright. And then when I'm happy, I do those really dark, intense images. So that's not always true. Sometimes it's just, it is what it is. But on occasion, I found that when I am upset, I will make some light image against my own thoughts. Like I intended to make a dark image. I started out making a dark image, and then it ended up not being a dark image. Likewise with my happiness, I intend to make like a lighter, brighter, happier image, and I go really dark. I'm a huge fan of dark imagery, so dark colors, dark storylines, and then sometimes I just end up with these light, fluffy things. I don't know how it happens, but it does. So within my photography, sometimes I'm telling a story. Well, I'm always telling a story, but sometimes I know the story in advance. Sometimes I know the story afterwards. So if I have an idea, I will go out and I will create that story, and I will design what I'm doing, how I'm posing, how I'm moving my model, what wardrobe I'm using, how I'm doing things, where I'm shooting, the angle I'm shooting at, the time I'm shooting at, and I will do that specifically to the image that I'm creating. But there are also times where I do not know the storyline, and I will pick a particular outfit and I will go out and I will shoot it, and when I get back in, I will figure out what that story is based on what I did. So I move in specific ways. I've got very specific ways of moving as the model in my images. I do a lot of self-portrait work, but sometimes I work with models, and we move them in very specific ways with the wardrobe, with their hair, with the settings, and we tell the story through that. And then I will go through my images and I will figure out what that story is, and I will create that story around the model, whether it's me or someone else, and I will create new worlds. And I do not like to use just the same old things all the time. So I will take pieces from different images that I've shot over the years, and I will build worlds around my models. And this isn't always true. Sometimes I use the scenery that I am in, and I kind of run with that, and I base stuff around that. But sometimes I build things. So there are places that do not exist that exist within my photos. I create these new worlds. So I like to say that I am a creator of new worlds, both through my photography and through my writing. I love creating those new worlds, and I love inspiring people to create new worlds, whether it's through photography or writing, or if they're an artist and they're drawing things. I love to create those new worlds. So my ideas come from, hi Susie, thanks for joining. My ideas come from what I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing, what's going on around me, and specifically from my wardrobe. So there's a lot of different couture pieces that I have that I build characters around, and then I build worlds around those. And it's really, really fun. If you guys have questions, go ahead, drop them in the comment box. We're going to wrap this up in the next few minutes. But I am taking questions on my writing, on golden or jaded, or on my photography. So feel free to ask whatever you have. And thank you so much for joining me, guys. Now, I'm just going to check this. Ooh, because I'm getting messages. Let's see. Let's see what people are asking. Do I have secrets that I can share about golden? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I've got lots of secrets. I like to bury secrets within my stories. So as you are reading, you are going to find different things within golden that may not make sense. Well, they will make sense, but they will be explored deeper within the upcoming videos. Wow. Within the upcoming stories. I like to hide little things that you're going to catch later on. And specifically, and I know I've mentioned this a couple times, within the graphics on the interior of my book, we have some really cool hidden stuff. So the chapter headers of my book were designed by my artist, and that is something where we've hidden a lot of really cool things. So you will not figure out all the little hidden messages until you finish reading the story, and there's actually some stuff that you're not going to understand until you talk to me, and until you talk to or you watch my interviews and you read my interviews that I've done with bloggers, because there are specific things that I've hidden within the story that are not addressed within the story, specific to the characters within the story. So there's some really cool stuff I'm going to be kind of talking about within my street team. If you're not on my street team, you can jump onto streetteam.kmrobinsonbooks.com. I'm going to be giving away some stuff. And then after the book comes out, I am going to be kind of telling you some behind the scenes things about Illyria, about Dove, about Berwin, about Eden, about Lowell, and about Shadow. And just to appease Alexis, I will probably give some behind the scenes things on Silas, who happens to be her favorite character. He is Dove's best friend and quite the little matchmaker. And also Rayla. So I will be giving some really cool stuff, but you're not going to know that until you talk to me. I have hidden these things within the story, and it's not important to the storyline, but it is really, really cool once you know it, and it adds so much depth to the story once you understand what these things are that I hid about these specific characters. And I have hid them about Illyria, about Dove, about Berwin, about Eden, about Lowell, and about Shadow within this story. And you're not going to know it until you talk to me, you watch my interviews, you watch my live broadcasts, and you read the things that I'm doing with different book bloggers. So I'm really excited, and those are incorporated into that graphic header, or the header graphic. Ooh. And so they're little pictures. They're stuff I didn't even pick out. So when my artist created it, she hid a couple of things that I didn't see until she circled them and pointed them out to me. And now I'm like, oh yes, I see that. But she hit them really, really well. So there's stuff that's really obvious. There's stuff that you're going to get immediately. There's stuff you're going to understand what it is before you read the book. But then there's stuff that's hidden, and you're not going to understand until you've gotten through the entire book. And then there's stuff that's really hidden because it's like really blended into the image and you have to know where it is to find it. But it's going to make a lot of sense. And then there's stuff that is not going to make sense until you see that behind the scenes stuff about those specific characters. So I definitely have a lot of really cool hidden things within Golden, but I'm not going to tell you anymore because that's going to be some exclusive content over in my street team. And then later on, probably in April and May, I will kind of be parsing that out to the different fans after the book has come out March 28th. Okay, Connie wants to know, how did I come up with the cover? Aw, yay. The cover was a long process. It was a really long process because I have gone through a number of covers over the years. I actually wrote Golden 3 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I wrote this book and then I didn't do anything with it. And I had a friend convince me that I really should be doing something with this book, and with all of my books. And so I subbed it out to just a handful of publishers that I really knew very well and I trusted, and that I wanted to work with. So I'm very specific about the publishers that I'm working with and the agents and the people that I'm working with. And I had some very specific things I was looking for in them. So I only sent it out to maybe a couple of people. And I had a really good response from most of them. I definitely had one or two say no. But most of them were very, very responsive to it and very excited for it. And I had a few deals on it, and I actually turned some stuff down. About a year ago was my last offer, and I turned it down because it wasn't the situation that I wanted to be in, and thank goodness, because that one ended up a little bit crazy, and I'm so grateful I said no. And then I found Snowy Wings, and here we are. So I've actually been through a number of covers because over the years I've kind of thought, well, this is a cool way to go. This is something I want to try. Oh, I kind of like this. And I had a cover that I really, really liked. And then I had to think about the life of the series. The cover that I had created, I absolutely loved, but it wasn't going to live through the other two books in the prequel novella. Just because of the way that I had created it, it didn't have what I needed for the entire series. So that is something you're actually going to be seeing at some point within my marketing for this particular series, but it is not something that is on my cover. So I had to go through a number of covers. I tried a bunch of different things, and it is my own fine art photography. So I got to do my own covers for this, and I tried a number of different things, and I did a number of different shoots for it. So I knew I wanted Illyria on my cover, and I wanted to show off her hair. So the hair with Golden, with Goldilocks is the big thing. So I spent a lot of time really focusing in on the hair, what's going to make the hair look good, what's going to show off that this is Goldilocks. And that was the ultimate photo. So I've actually got, I've got the entire series and the novella planned out. The covers are designed for the most part and ready to go. So I've got that ready to go. I'm really excited about it. And yes, that is me on the cover because I'm the only one who had the hair to fit with it. So, so we just had to run with that, unfortunately. Typically, I probably wouldn't have myself on a cover, but I had the hair, so I ran with it. It works. Fine arts photographer. Yay. What's nice is that I do a lot of self-portrait work, and so most people are not going to know it's me, but you guys that know me, you're going to know it's me because I've got the hair. So I went through a lot with it. I went through a lot of fonts. My gosh, I can't even tell you how long it took me to get that title font on Golden. It was insane. I went through a lot. I tried a lot of different ways and a lot of different fonts, and I was creating fonts and all sorts of things, and finally, miraculously, it clicked. It was like the last thing that I was trying right before I needed to have it done, and I'm like, that's the one. That's it. So we found it, and then I kind of did what I needed to do to kind of tweak it and make it unique, and there we go. So we've got some really cool stuff coming out for Golden, and if you want some really cool behind-the-scenes stuff, I'm actually going to be doing a behind-the-scenes event for people. It's going to be exclusive. It's going to be top secret. I'm going to show you the creation of the cover, what I did, how I did it. I'm going to take you into Photoshop and kind of show you what was going on. So if you want that, let me know below in the comments, and I will get you involved once I get that done in the next week or so. I don't have specifics on it yet, but it is going to be one of those exclusive things to my street team, kind of top secret, behind the scenes, step for step, what I did to create the cover. So I hope you'll join me for that. And then we've got some really cool marketing stuff coming out in the next couple of weeks for Golden with some of my fine arts pictures that I'm really excited about. I cannot wait to get started with that and get that out there. If you've been following specifically my Instagram, we've been putting out some really cool things, but I'm really going to get in depth into the Golden stuff and those kind of visuals that go with the Golden world. So I'm really, really excited for this. Connie wants to know, why did I like Snowy Wings? Oh, Snowy Wings. Snowy Wings is beautiful. I love Snowy Wings. It's a great group of people. I'm friends with the people who are kind of in charge, so I have a lot of decision-making power within that, which I love. And it's a really great group of people working together to help each other to really, really to market and cross-promote and do some really cool events together. So we've got some Twitter chats coming up. We do our live broadcast. I'm actually kind of the face of Snowy Wings for our Snowy Wings Weekly Summit, where we tell people weekly what is going on within this publishing company. We talk about the new authors, the new books, the really cool things that we're doing. So it's really a lot of fun. We've got some great people. We've got some bestsellers. We've got some amazing stories, amazing books, and it's really just, it's so very much fun. It's a great community. It's a great culture behind the scenes. We have an amazing street team. So we created the Snow Angels. We got like 40 people on the first day to join this group, and it's growing and it's interactive. People are talking. We're doing advanced copies. We're doing special events. And within the street team, we actually give people the ability to earn feathers for their wings. So when they are working with the authors to help market their books, to do interviews, to do the different Twitter chats and things like that, they are earning feathers, which they can then redeem for prizes like bookmarks, like signed postcards, like books, like all sorts of fun and amazing things. So you can join the Snow Angels by jumping on to strayteam.snowywingspublishing.com, and you can get the behind the scenes of what we're doing and have direct access to all of our amazing authors. We've got some really good stuff coming out. Quick shout out, Claire Dugmore, my dear darling friend, has a book coming out tomorrow for Valentine's Day. It is called All It Takes, and it's a really cool new adult novel. I'm so excited. It's her debut, so make sure you check that out. Claire's awesome, so I know it's going to be fantastic. All right, so what else do we have question-wise? Should we wrap this baby up? I'm going to give it just a second because we are on just a slight delay. Oh, I'm getting notifications that this video is doing really well. Yay, guys! We've got 10 comments so far. Let me know, what do you want to know about Golden, about my photography, about my author journey? If you are an author and you do not follow me over at Reading Transforms, that is my educational platform where I am teaching authors how to market their books, how to brand their author brand, engage their fans, get them to interact, equip them to market for you, and I teach social media strategy, which is how you kind of work with those algorithms within social media that keep bogging down your posts and taking your visibility away from your fans. So we talk a lot about how to work on Facebook, how to work on Instagram, how to work on Twitter, how to work on Snapchat. Speaking of Snapchat, I have Snapchat now as an author, which I'm really excited about. I do some really cool behind the scenes things exclusive to Snapchat. So over on Instagram stories, that's a little bit more professional, a little bit more refined, a little bit more curated, but it's really great for doing some behind the scenes stuff. I've talked about how I'm editing things. Connie freaking loves Reading Transforms, and we freaking love you, Connie. Anyway, over on Instagram stories, I do a lot of really cool behind the scenes stuff about how I'm editing, how I'm writing. I showed you my editing tablet, which is not what you think, but is really, really amazing and absolutely essential to how I function on a daily basis. So that was a really cool behind the scenes on my Instagram stories. And then we also do stuff over on Snapchat, which is a little bit more laid back, I would say, because I use the fun filters and I do the voice changers and I just kind of show you the day-to-day of what I'm doing. So when I ordered my books, I told you. When I ordered my postcards, I told you. When I was designing my bookmarks, I told you. And typically it was in the little deer filter with the voice changer, the little bunny with the snow filter that changed my voice. And it's kind of just a fun experience. So find me on Snapchat. It is at KM Robinson Books. You can also find me on all social media. So that means Facebook, that means Twitter, that means Instagram, at KM Robinson Books. So it's at KM Robinson Books throughout all of the social media platforms. You can find me, connect with me. I'm doing some really cool stuff. And if you are an author who is over on Reading Transforms with me, you can kind of see how I'm putting things into practice throughout my own author platform. Now I'm going to wrap this up because we've been chatting for a while, and I'm probably killing my phone battery right now. So if you have more questions, leave them in the comments below. If you're watching our rebroadcast, leave it in the comments below, and I will answer these in an upcoming video. A little bit later, either this week or next week, I'm not sure yet, I'm going to be doing something really cool, which I'm extremely excited about. I am going to be doing an in-depth look at my main characters. So I am creating videos, and this is totally dependent on the weather and the lighting, because I have not recorded these yet, but I'm going to be doing recorded videos on my different characters. So I will be introducing you to Illyria, who is my Goldilocks. I will be introducing you to Dove Bear, who is my baby bear. We're going to be talking about Berwin, who is the older brother bear, or the papa bear within the original story. We're going to be talking about Eden, who is Berwin's wife and Dove's sister-in-law, who is kind of acting as my mama bear. And then we're going to be talking about Shadow, who is Illyria's handler and trainer. And we're going to be talking about Illyria's cousin Lowell and what he has to do with the story and why he's so important and why he's, well, I'm not going to say what he is. He's horrible. So he's our villain. You'll meet him. It's great. And I will be doing that in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks. I will be putting out these short live videos so you can kind of get to know the characters before you are reading the book. Or if you are in the street team, and if you have the advanced copies of my book, which went out yesterday, you're going to get a deeper look into who they are. And then within the street team, as the street team goes through the advanced copies, I'm going to be giving away some of those top secret things that are hidden within the chapter headers in the books, those secret things about the characters that I haven't told you about yet. They are going to know in advance. So join my street team, streetteam.kmrobinsonbooks.com. That'll kick you over to the Facebook group, and then I will approve you, and you can join us and do all the really cool things. I've got some cool events. Oh, and speaking of, sorry, I'm all over the place right now, but I'm going to be doing a launch party for myself. So you know, over at Reading Transforms, I hold my book launch live parties, and I have authors come on, and we launch their book, usually on launch day, and we do a really great party. We play games, we do all sorts of fun things, we have readings, and it's amazing. But because I cannot host myself, that would be really awkward to have me ask myself questions, I am actually asking my people to come on the show for just short little segments and ask me questions and play games with me and do some really cool things. So if you are an awesome person who loves me and is willing to come on this show with me, please reach out to me. I want to have you on. We'll have you do some really cool stuff with me. It's going to be structured a little bit differently than most book launch live parties, just because I have to be on screen all the time and people are coming and going from the screen. So I'm really excited for it. I haven't fully planned it out yet, but I am going to be getting information out to people about that relatively soon. I'm excited. It's going to be awesome. So if you want to be on my show to help me welcome Golden into the world, please let me know. It's going to be awesome. You do not have to be an author. You do not have to be a book blogger. You could just be someone who loves me, who wants to come on my show and ask me questions. That's directed to some people who I know are watching right now. Susie, that's to you. Just saying. I'm just saying. Susie's my sister, guys. She's very supportive, and she comes and hangs out and watches my broadcasts. So she will probably pop on because I'll probably make her. That's just the way it's going to go. So I hope the rest of you will join me. It's going to be awesome. And now I'm officially going to wrap this up. If you have questions, drop them below. I will answer them in future videos. And join the street team, because that has exclusive information about those advanced copies, about the characters, about the things that go on within the story. And if you are one of those people who has your arc, or my arc, in your hands, you had better be live commenting me, because all of my beta readers did this. They would get on and they would text me as they were reading, and I got yelled at and screamed at, and they told me how swoony it was, and they told me what they loved about the characters and who they loved and who they hated, and what they yelled at me for the things I was doing to my characters, and it was the highlight of writing this book. So if you do have a copy of Golden in your hands right now, or if you have one soon, because I am doing another round of arcs soon, make sure that you're live commenting me, because it's the best thing in the world and I'm having so much fun with it. So I've actually started to get comments from some of the people who are reading it right now. I had one person read the prologue and they were already so in love with the story, and I'm so excited for it. So thank you so much, guys. I have loved hanging out with you guys, and I've loved to continue to hang out with you guys. So let me know what you want to see more of down in the comments, and I will happily make more videos and do more interviews and some fun things for you, as well as some really cool events and games that I have coming up specific to you guys, but also to the book world in general. I cannot wait to tell you about it. I can't say too much just yet, but good things are coming. So thank you so much. I will see you guys next time. I'm KM Robinson, author of Golden, which comes out March 28th, and author of Jaded, which comes out in June on the 27th. So thank you so much for joining me. You guys have a fabulous day. Stay inspired. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.